Hello. Today I want to talk with you about ongoing research taking place at the Scheinman Institute regarding how new technologies are affecting workplace arbitration and mediation. We've been looking at, in particular, how the use of virtual hearings, as well as the potential use of artificial intelligence, are affecting workplace ADR. We're doing this research by conducting surveys of arbitrators and advocates, and we're also doing intensive interviews with those parties to get into a little bit more depth about their use of the technology and their reaction to what the technologies may bring. With the help of the National Academy of Arbitrators, we've been surveying their members. We did a survey 3 years ago looking at the use of virtual hearings, growing out of the increased use of those hearings in the pandemic. And then this fall, we've been surveying National Academy members, and we have plans to survey others, not only about the use of virtual hearings to see if that use has been sustained, but we're also asking new questions about how the parties are making use of artificial intelligence or what they expect to do regarding artificial intelligence, and in particular, for example, whether they feel the need for more training about artificial intelligence or new ethical guidelines about the potential use of artificial intelligence. The recent survey we've done with the National Academy is still in process, so now I can just give you a sort of tentative look at the results and mention some other research we're going to do to extend that survey. So far we have about 200 responses from National Academy members. That survey has a whole series of questions about artificial intelligence, and then also once again asks about virtual hearings. With regard to artificial intelligence, very few arbitrators have made any use yet of artificial intelligence. Some are open to the possibility of making use of AI, feel the need for additional training and understanding about how AI might be used. But there are other arbitrators, not so surprisingly, are saying at this point they don't foresee ever making use of AI. Those that see the possibility of AI are also mentioning that they'd appreciate more training and guidelines about how to use AI, and even potentially encouraging the creation of some ethical guidelines. You know, what kinds of ethical considerations should be addressed regarding AI? How should the parties be informed if an arbitrator is making some use of AI, for example? With regard to virtual hearings, we're observing through the survey and also hearing from our interviews that a significant number of workplace neutrals are making use of virtual hearings. Some of them almost exclusively conduct their work through virtual hearings. At the same time, there are some arbitrators who never shifted to virtual hearings or didn't like the use of virtual hearings during the pandemic and now have shifted back towards in-person hearings. More commonly, we find a mixed picture in that many arbitrators make use of virtual hearings for some of their hearings, but for other hearings, they, at the request of the parties, they hold those hearings in person. I mean, overall, with regard to virtual hearings, people are generally satisfied with the use of those hearings, or at least those that are using them. There aren't many complaints surfacing about virtual hearings. At the same time, there's more research to be done, in particular with regard to AI, since it's such a new technology. We expect that the parties are going to learn more about it over the years. We hope to go back in a couple of years and resurvey the parties. I might also add that in addition to surveying arbitrators, we're in the midst of extending our survey to advocates, labor and management advocates, in particular lawyers, and asking them about the use of AI. We have a suspicion that's based on the interviews that have been conducted, many of them conducted by our MS student, Patrick Mailer, who's writing about use of the new technology for his master's thesis. Anyway, Patrick finds, and we've also observed through other channels, that advocates seem to be more familiar with AI, and in some law firms they've begun to use AI, not so surprisingly, for example, to draft contract language, not necessarily dealing with labor management issues, but making use of AI in one way or another. So we're curious about whether AI is creeping in to the work of legal advocates when they're involved in workplace dispute resolution. We also plan on extending our survey sample to include people who have more recently joined the profession of workplace dispute resolution as arbitrators or mediators, thinking that those somewhat younger dispute resolvers may have different attitudes towards AI than the more experienced members of the National Academy. We'll find out as our research continues, and I look forward to reporting about this research more comprehensively in future updates. Take care.